We've been here before, fighting the problems that fight back. But we can shift the status quo, because we see opportunities where others see obstacles. We're change makers and problem solvers, uniting over 1 million minds to address complex issues facing communities around the world, including yours. With passion and purpose, we've led the efforts to put an end to polio. Now eradication isn't just possible, it's plausible. Every day we're investing in a new generation of leaders so we can continue to provide access to clean water, tackle global health concerns, support education, and build the foundations of peace across borders. We're working together as partners and professionals while making friendships that last a lifetime. We're Rotary, and there's no limit to what we can do.
Welcome everyone to the Rotary Club of Tulsa. I haven't done this enough, so I want to do it one last time in this Rotary year, and that is to congratulate and recognize our pianist, Tom Wolfe, who, when the president stands up, finds a way to create an ending for his song no matter what. So thank you again. We have a great program, and we'll start our program with our invocation led by Matthew Bristow. Our song and pledge will be from Phil Armstrong, and I believe Past President Ed Monette will introduce our visitors. So, Matthew, show us how to do it.
All right. Please bow your heads. Heavenly Father, we thank you for our meal and for the service of those who've prepared it today, and we ask that you keep us mindful of those who are hungry and in need of the basic amenities we take for granted. We all make our lives so busy and would ask that you help us to open our eyes and our ears to the opportunities you put in front of us each day to serve others, and let us pause and take time when we see opportunities to help. This coming week, we pray for all those running for elected office in our community. We appreciate their time, their energy, and willingness to serve, and we'd ask that you be with them and their families. This week, we also pray for our fellow Rotarians who are racing across America, Bob McKenzie and his team, as they shine a spotlight on Rotary's work to end polio in the world. Please keep them safe and strong, and let them be an example to all of us. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Written in 1831 by Samuel Francis Smith. Let's sing My Country 'Tis of Thee today. My country 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of thy pilgrim's pride, from every mountainside, let freedom ring. Join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everybody to the Rotary Club of Tulsa. We have quite a few guests today, and as is our tradition, I will introduce you and your host. If you will briefly stand and then sit back down, and we will hold our applause till the very end, and upon my command, we will give you a rousing round of Rotary welcome. First off, Chris Callahan with Williams Company is the guest of Tim Caldwell. Jesse Guardiola with the Tulsa Police Department Hispanic Outreach is the guest of Dale Dreyer. From Tulsa Tech, we have Robert Franklin, who is the guest of the entire yearling class number 2. The guest and wife of John Howland is Jamie Howland. Michael Burks has a young man named Nick Williams, who he'll tell you about later. Brooke Estevez brought everybody in the zip code, most of which are Rotaract members, so I will fire through the names. We have Ann Tran, Trevor Thacker, Helen Clark, Rachel Duffy, Ronnie Joby, Hunter Maddox, Marcus McCarr, and Jamie Fetters. Let's give everybody a round of applause. We have some visiting Rotarians, and as I read their name, we will give our traditional welcome to them. Oh, Brooke, you put your name as a visiting Rotarian. So we're from Rotaract, Brooke Estevez. From Sapulpa, Larry Babb. Sunrise has given us Janet Cheek. And from Southeast and Newton O'Connor, we have G.W. Newton, otherwise known as Bill. Thank you all, and please come back anytime.
Thank you, Ed. We always like to begin our program with a little reminder of what's coming up. So quickly, next week is the Presidential Roast Steak Day. Don't forget that Burnco will be supplying the steaks. So if you needed a little extra motivation, maybe that'll do it. And make sure that we order enough steaks for everyone. There are cards on your tables that look like this. You're free to bring as many guests as you like. Just let us know how many. You do not need to identify them. We are not going to run a background check or call the TSA. So I was just traveling. So let us know how many guests. And if you just don't get signed up and something happens last minute this week, you're not forbidden from bringing guests even though you didn't sign up. We just need to have a rough count of how many might be here so we'll have enough meat for next week. July 6th, the week after that, will be the inauguration of President-elect John Raines. You'll want to be here for that. His ideas are astounding and great as always. Another reminder, on Saturday, July the 9th, volunteers are needed to help spruce up our Rotary Plaza on Williams Center Green. We'll be meeting from 9 o'clock to noon. Volunteers are needed to help wash off the granite while others use paste wax. What is it? On, off. Tim tells me it's not that difficult. He's not going to be yelling in our ear on and off, etc. Anyway, our volunteers will be using paste wax to clean the bronze sculptures. Sculptor David Nunnally, who created 3 of the pieces, will oversee our efforts so that we don't make any mistakes. If we have a lot of people there, the work won't be much, and we'll get out in a couple of hours. So if you're interested in assisting, this is Saturday, July the 9th from 9 to noon. Contact Tim Caldwell on DACDB, or do I dare do it, tim.caldwell@williams.com. If you're interested in helping, do not send Tim any spam. So mark your calendars today and plan to be there. A reminder of our committee meeting today in the Beacon Room, I believe, yes, is the Technology and Program Production Committee, who is busily preparing for next Rotary year, I am sure. So be sure to join that committee, and don't forget that we need some new people to help us run the cameras and do all the great things to make our meetings a lot of fun. So I encourage you to consider that committee. Now it's time to recognize our sponsors, and our Sarge does it so much better. So Alicia, please.
Okay. You don't have to butter me up. We're almost finished, yeah. Big thank you to all of our Rotary sponsors. Today we have David Wolfers with James Potts and Wolfers, and every banker in town with Bank First, Paul Bowman, Monty Curry, Bill Miller, and Gordon Greer. Thank you all very much for your support of the Rotary Club. We rely on our sponsors heavily. We appreciate you very much, and if you have any questions about sponsorship, you're welcome to see myself or Matt Moritor. Thank you.
Our IBA co-chair, Michael Burks, is making his way on stage as I speak right now to tell us a little bit about our IBA Awards High School Citizen Athlete runner-up.
Well, thank you. Earlier this year, Jeff charged us with looking at the whole program. And I think one of the things that I'm most proud of is the addition of a High School Citizen Athlete Award. We sent out nomination requests to all the athletic directors back in March, and we received 12 nominees. In April, we had the local sportscasters, John Holcomb, Channel 6, Nathan Thompson with Fox, John Moss with Channel 8, and Michael Peters review those. And during those reviews, we reconvened at the end of April, and we chose both a winner and a runner-up in the category of male and female citizen athlete. This year, we honored Jessica Schuler as the female runner-up. She is a graduate of Sand Springs High School, where she was on the varsity softball team all 4 years with a .505 batting average, 54 hits, 63 RBIs, 11 home runs, and 4 grand slams. Not bad. She graduated with a weighted GPA of 4.58, my GPA times 2 or more, member of the National Honor Society, and her community service was she collected donations for the Salvation Army after the 2015 tornado. She collected food for the local food banks, collected toys for children at the Children's Hospital, and today, unfortunately, she's not able to be with us because she's playing softball. Last week, when I talked to her mom, she was in New Jersey. They're traveling to Colorado today. And so anyway, Jessica Schuler, your Henry P. Iba High School female athlete runner-up. But today, our male athlete runner-up, Nicholas Williams. Nick graduated from Sapulpa High School with a weighted GPA of 4.26. He's on the National Honor Society. He participated in varsity track and field for the past 4 years and was all-state, all-region, and all-conference. His community service included president of the Builders Club, a Kiwanis program, which helped in a downtown cleanup, created and delivered Valentine cards to a local nursing home, and participated in Show Incorporated, which helped disabled adults, homeless, and the homeless at the Salvation Army. So, welcome, Nicholas Williams, our athlete of the sport.
It's a future Rotarian for sure. Thanks again for coming. Oh, now you throw it in. He wants to be an architect. You too, Nick, can walk around in a blue blazer and a bow tie. Well, we're so excited to be able to graduate our second yearling class of the year, and I want to tell you a little bit about the program to remind you who may have forgotten or otherwise are curious. We used to do our incoming Rotarians from red badge to blue badge on a bit of an ad hoc basis, and taking a little hint from other large clubs, we began our yearling classes this year. So instead of having each yearling progress through the process kind of on a lonely one-on-one basis, we grouped our yearlings into 2 classes this year, and the Rotary Club of Tulsa Foundation was generous enough to give each class some seed money for their own project, which they identified and carried out. Now, it's pretty obvious to see the benefit of having these classes. You create camaraderie and instant friendships among the members of the class. You give those people the comfort of a class to belong to, so when they walk into this big room full of mostly strangers, they have an instant group of people to sit with, and they have something to talk about, a project to work on together, and maybe most importantly, it can be an incubator of new ideas for our club and maybe even a big project to take on someday. And you'll see a little example of that in a second. So the way we're going to do this today is Bryant Bynum from the class is going to come up and tell you a little bit about Class 2's project. And then after that, Joey Longmire will come up to MC our ceremony. We will have all of the graduating Class 2 members start over there and walk across. Hannibal and I will shake hands and hand them their blue badges, etc. So, Bryant, the microphone is yours, and we love to hear your story about your project.
Great. Thank you, President Jeff. Well, I plan to start out by thanking the club for initiating the Yearling Project on behalf of Yearling Class 2 and to extol its benefits, but the benefits have already been extolled, so we can move on past that. The second thing I wanted to say before we get started is that Class 2 is extremely appreciative of what Class 1 did. We were able to leverage the relationship that Class 1 started with Tulsa Tech, as well as some of their ideas, to be able to further what they've done and hopefully continue a progression of benefits to Tulsa youth. Tulsa youth was what we selected as the area that we wanted to be able to support. So first off, we kind of came up with what is the strategy? What do we want to accomplish in doing that? And basically, three things: inclusion, career development, and pride for Tulsa youth. Something that would support those three areas. Second of all, we don't want to just do something and leave it alone. We wanted to create something, just as Class 1 did, that was leverageable for future growth and that other organizations or other classes could move forward with. And then finally, let's always keep in mind increasing the awareness of Rotary and the benefits that it provides to the community. So taking that, we came up with several objectives. First of all, we wanted it to have something that was a lasting benefit, that would be remembered, that would be seen for years to come. Second of all, we wanted to make sure that it supported the importance of community service, the value of technical training, and the importance of inclusion with Tulsa youth. We wanted to provide a safe area for children that were feeling bullied or excluded. And we wanted to support those that are pursuing technical training. And I'll talk about that a little bit more here in a moment. So we came up with three initiatives. The first initiative is something that is called Buddy Benches, and I'll describe that. Second of all is a support of a $3,000 contribution to the Tulsa Tech Foundation to support students coming into technical training in Tulsa, and I'll talk about that. And then finally, not wanting to leave a dollar unturned, is to go out and reach out to the community and ask for support within the community as well. So first of all, Buddy Benches. What are Buddy Benches? You know, we talk a lot today about inclusion, and we talk a lot about acceptance of other people, but we all know that in schools, kids are still excluded, kids still feel bullied. There is that loneliness that exists, especially early on in secondary schools. And the concept that started internationally and has come over to the United States is something called Buddy Benches. And what happens is that a child that is feeling excluded, a first, a second, a third grader, that is feeling excluded, that is feeling bullied, that's feeling lonely and doesn't have somebody to play with, has a place to go. And when they sit on that buddy bench, it signifies that they would like to have somebody to play with, that they would like to be included in something. And it's remarkable the acceptance that other children bring in coming over and grabbing that child and becoming and including them in what they're doing. And they have new friends, they have a place to play. It also helps teachers identify when a child is continually feeling excluded or bullied or having some sort of a loneliness problem. And finally, I don't know about you, but I remember being young and not necessarily wanting to go outside, kind of lingering at lunch or wanting to go to the library instead. It helps encourage kids to go outside, to be kids and to be outside and want to go outside and play. Second is support of Tulsa Tech Foundation. You know, we hear a lot these days, and have for quite a while, about, going to college. Kids need to be able to get a college education. The importance of a college education. How are kids going to pay for a college education? And college education is very important to many kids, to many young adults, and it can provide a great career. But so can technical training. And Tulsa has, through Tulsa Tech, a fantastic avenue for children in high school to go through and receive technical training and be able to come out of high school certified in their area and begin a wonderful technical career. Unfortunately, there are costs involved in that. And so sometimes kids can't participate. Tulsa Tech has a foundation, and that foundation is set up to help Tulsa youth entering Tulsa Tech that have difficulty paying for supplies. The competitions that they do are fantastic but cost money, as well as the certifications in their field of study. That foundation supports those children in helping to provide financing so that they can graduate college or high school fully participatory in technical training. And then next, we wanted to be able to tell the Rotary story. And let's go ahead and advance through, because I talked off of this slide and we don't need the next couple of slides, but leverageable, okay. We were given $2,500. The cost to do these benches, with the support of Tulsa Tech providing the labor and everything, us just having to pay for the supplies for 4 benches to place at 4 Tulsa public schools, is going to be about $1,000, which leaves $1,500 left over. Not wanting to leave a dollar for a dollar, what we want to be able to do is go out and tell the Rotary story, tell the Tulsa Tech story, and tell the Buddy Bench story. So we're going out and seeking an additional matching $1,500, $1,600 actually, in the community to support this program so that we can provide a $3,000 donation to Tulsa Tech. But we're not looking for a single contributor. Each of us are looking for small contributors, $200 per class member, that we can tell them about Rotary, make them aware of the project, make them aware of what's going on, and have them contribute and feel a part of what we're doing. And then finally, we wanted to be able to make sure that this was leverageable for future growth. This is 4 benches at 4 Tulsa area public schools. This is something that future classes, that Rotary Club, that other Rotary clubs or other organizations can get on board with to further this initiative and help make Tulsa kind of the city of benches or the city of friendship. And that's something that we as a class believe are very important. So we believe this project meets those objectives, and it has been a great opportunity working with the team and with Tulsa Tech to initiate this. Thank you.
All right, Joey, if you'll make your way to the stage, Joey's going to introduce our Class 2 members, and Hannibal and I will hand out the the blue badges, richly deserved. Joey?
First of all, kudos to President Jeff for implementing this whole idea. And I can't go on without thanking my former co-chair, Lauren Monet. I'm sure many of you remember Lauren, nicknamed the Spark Plug. She was the brains and beauty of the organization, and I was hanging on to her feet as she walked out the door for Lexington, Kentucky, much like my toddlers used to do when I left. And at any rate, you'll be glad to know that she has immersed herself in the Rotary Club there of Lexington and is representing us proudly. As I said, it has been a great honor to work with these gentlemen, and they are all gentlemen. But I would be remiss if I didn't also thank Dale Astle for his work in the orientation, setting up orientation for each new member, so kudos to Dale for that as well. All right, without further ado, I believe we have all of our members here except for one. Royal Ailes is not here, but he has already become a very active and involved member of Rotary, and as you probably know, he's with RSU Public Television. All right. Andy Avila is our first to receive his blue badge. Andy is with PricewaterhouseCoopers. Next is Robert Babcock with Oklahoma Natural Gas. You've met Bryant Bynum. He did this wonderful presentation. Bryant is with Blueview Agency. Stephen Robarbs with Foam Swab Technologies. Cameron Walker with Habitat for Humanity. Robert Walters with J. Mark Business Solutions. And John Dale with Gable Gottwalls. There's another person I would like to thank who does not get enough thanks, I know, because she works so hard in the office, and that is Rochelle Parker. Thank you, and congratulations to our new blue badges.
Thank you, Joy. So as you're aware, we talked about it last week, the Rotary Rams team is on the way in Race Across America. As we speak, they are almost directly north of us in Kansas, making their way across the country. And I think we have a couple of pictures to show you real quick. We thought we might try to hook up a live video, but we didn't want to drag the club through technical difficulties. So keep them in your thoughts and prayers as they continue their trek across the country in the Race Across America. Remember, 4 of them are continuously riding one at a time from California to DC, and it's quite an accomplishment, and we can't wait, of course, to hear from Bob when they get done and get back. So keep them in your thoughts and prayers. Today we have the privilege of inducting a new member into the Rotary Club of Tulsa, and Tim, if you'll join me up at the stage, we get to meet our newest member. It's always exciting to have new members, and while they're on their way, I want to thank Dale Astle, I believe, who did the new member orientation, and I want to encourage all of my fellow Rotarians to make our newest Rotarian feel right at home.
Thank you, President Jeff. Come on up. Well, I want you to meet Sarah Lorenzen. And Sarah is with Tulsa World, and we are so thrilled to have her as our newest member of the Rotary Club of Tulsa. She is the Marketing and Research Director for the Tulsa World Media Company, and I think we need a photo here, so you need to get in real close. There, okay. Sarah is a native of Tulsa. She's a Booker T. Washington and a University of Kansas grad, and we're thrilled to have her here. She's been married for 10 years, and and her husband James, they have 2 daughters, Izzy and Maddie. And we know that Sarah's going to be a great member. She's already active and she's a member of the TRAC board, and she has just been inducted or just been notified that she'll be a part of the Leadership Tulsa upcoming class. So, Sarah, thank you so much for joining. Here's your red badge.
Thank you.
Whoop, sorry. Here's your red badge and your Rotary pin, and here's a 4-way test. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Let's welcome her.
Sarah, welcome to the club. Great to have you. All right, Alicia, we are ready for your penultimate Sarge at Arms session. You were not doing a side mic.
Your year's over. Thank you for not cutting me, Jeff.
Yeah.
It's my last day. Maybe. Sorry. Good afternoon, and let me get this, is this how this is going to go on my last day?
That
Okay.
figures,
Cool.
yeah.
It's fine. I prepared some really nice slides for you all, but I guess we're not going to have that. It's a sad day for all of us, and I'm sorry that we have to start this away. This is kind of how I felt this morning preparing these slides, and I got to talk with Kip Lycum a little bit. This turned my day around. This is Kip's wife. Can you all see Pat, the lovely Pat, in 1980 and 2006? Kip, I don't know what you did to deserve her, but she's a doll. Happy 36th anniversary. Clearly, time with you has been blissful because she has aged rather well. Thank you for sharing your anniversary with us, and thank you for your generous donation, Kip. I don't mean to be gloomy, I'm sorry. Karen Keith, thank you very much for your generous donation to the foundation in celebration of helping with the help of Tulsa community to get the new family justice site in downtown Tulsa. So congratulations, and thank you for everything you do for us, Karen. That was a doodle. Happy birthday, Pedro. Pedro's birthday is this weekend. Pedro generously, can't talk, donated $143. That's his age, plus the year he started Rotary, plus $2 for placing second in the Tulsa Run last year. I'm not sure how old that makes you, Pedro. You don't have to tell us unless you want to tell us. He doesn't want to tell us. Okay, happy birthday, Pedro, and thank you very much. Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks, Alicia. Pedro, what was your time? How long did it take you to run the Tulsa Run? 49. 49 minutes? 5K. I thought that was a 15K. I can safely say that that's faster than, way more than the majority of the members of this club could do the 5K without any age waiting, so congratulations. It's my pleasure to introduce our Rotarian of the Day, Brooke Estevez, or maybe Rotaractor of the Day, Honorary Rotarian, whatever you might call her. I'm pleased to introduce her. You have met her before, so I won't repeat a lot except to remind you that she grew up outside of Lawton in Cache. She completed her undergraduate studies in 2005 at the University of Oklahoma with a Bachelor's of Science in Zoology, Biomedical, is that right? And went on to earn her Doctorate of Osteopathic Medicine degree at the OSU College of Osteopathic Medicine in Tulsa in 2011. Dr. Estevez completed her internal medicine residency at the OSU Medical Center in 2014 and just finished her oncology fellowship. Little certificate, big certificate if you ask me. And so we're all really proud. All of you who are privileged to know Brooke know that she is one incredibly special person, and a lot of people say that, not just me. For example, last year she was named one of Oklahoma's 40 under 40. She has served, as you may recall, as the president of the Tulsa Rotaract since July 1st of 2015. Please welcome our Rotarian of the Day, Dr. Brooke Estevez.
Thank you. Robert Kahn Davis Uniondo is Director of World Literature Today at the University of Oklahoma, a magazine that has been at OU for over 90 years. It was through him that I was exposed to such exquisite poets like Adam Zagajewski and Alvaro Mutez, and writers like Rudolfo Anaya. Dr. Davis inspired in me an appreciation for literature, music, and art. It was also through him that I began to have a greater appreciation for my own Hispanic background. He is dedicated to innovative, interdisciplinary teaching. He is an amazing professor who deeply cares about his students. He is adept to presenting information that keeps one's attention. He understands that every student is unique, and he individualizes his teaching style to make sure that each student learns in the manner that is most beneficial to them. He engaged students in learning both in and out of the classroom. One of my most memorable experiences was when he took students to Santa Fe, New Mexico on a course called Summer in Santa Fe. This was a 2-week Hispanic literature cultural class which he conducted where students are introduced to a curanderismo and are immersed in Hispanic American literature, food, art, music, again a class which I attended. He is a mentor and a role model to Chicano and other minority students and faculty, and students credit him with changing their thinking, their attitudes, and their lives. He served as one of my personal mentors during my time at OU, and I am so grateful for him. Joining the OU faculty in 1980, Dr. Davis was named as the executive director of OU's international magazine, World Literature Today, and holder of the Neustadt Professorship in Comparative Literature in 1999. Publishing in Chicano American Studies and Literary Criticism and Theory, he is the author, co-author, and editor of 12 books, including a textbook now in its 4th edition and over 60 articles. And as I just learned, he even has a book coming out in February of 2017 called Mestitos Come Home, Making and Claiming Mexican-American Identity from the OU Press. He received the Rufus G. Hall Faculty Achievement Award in 1993 and the Kenneth E. Crook Annual Faculty Award in 1994, and the Sullivan Award for Perceptivity in 2004. He has been Faculty of the Year several times for his work with the Latino fraternity and sororities on campus, including my own sorority, Sigma Lambda Gamma. He served as the Dean of the OU Honors College from 2005 to 2009 and is currently overseeing the development of a collaborative partnership between the University of Oklahoma and Beijing Normal University to promote Chinese literature in the United States. He is a father of 2 boys and 1 girl and a beautiful wife. He received his MA and PhD at the University of California, Davis, and a BA in Cal State East Bay. Dr. Davis is one of the most encouraging people I know. He's treated every student as an individual and took interest in their lives and their success. He is a professor who was always prepared, ready to seize the moment and put faith in students when others might not have. He has made a huge difference in my life, and I have no doubt to many others. To me, Dr. Davis has not been just a mentor, but his compassionate and caring nature has led me to look at him as a father figure as well. I will forever be grateful for the knowledge, experiences, and life lessons that he has provided me, and I am honored to introduce him today.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm just so honored to be here. I guess I can talk after that just really warm introduction. It was really beautiful. I love Rotary, and I think I've spoken to Rotary a couple of times in Norman. It's so great to be here in Tulsa to see Dr. Brooke Estevez, whom I've known since she was an undergraduate, and I'm just so proud of. My old friend John Brock, I don't think I've seen him yet today, but I hope he's here. And my son Joshua in med school at the Schusterman Center, so it's kind of a second home for me in a way. I'm also particularly pleased to be speaking to a group that has the same mission as the organization that I direct at OU, World Literature Today. The Rotary International motto commits to advancing world understanding, goodwill, and peace through fellowship. Change just the word fellowship to literature and culture, and you've got the WLT model. So we're 2 organizations very closely tied. Rotary and WLT both want to make the world a better place, but from different perspectives. In case you haven't followed the news recently, the world maybe needs to be a little better place than it has been the last few years. I think of the recent tragedy of 49 people shot dead in Orlando, and I end up committing all over again to WLT's and Rotary's goals of advancing human understanding across cultures and across communities. As this unthinkable tragedy has shown us, it is urgent that we do everything we can to advance these goals. Now, the story I want to tell you today is about World Literature Today's efforts to go global, but also about its commitment to enhance understanding across communities everywhere. Why should you care about this literature and culture magazine? Well, there are some good reasons. WLT reaches millions of people every year, and it is one of the shapers of how people view Oklahoma, both within the U.S. and around the world. WLT has been in continuous operation for 90 years, 9-0, and in the U.S. and abroad, people frequently learn about Oklahoma as a literary and cultural community through reading WLT. Now, in the rest of my time today, I want to take you back to 4 moments since 2001 in which we at WLT took action to open up the world for our publication, and in the process have tried to increase understanding across communities and, frankly, make the world a better place. The recent history of WLT is an object lesson about going global and feeling your way along, even when, honestly, you don't know exactly what you are doing. Okay, moment number 1. Moment number 1 came in 2001. I'd been at WLT as its new director for about a year and discovered that there was a magazine issue devoted to Arabic literature and culture scheduled to come out about 3 weeks after 9/11 happened. We were nervous in bringing out an Arabic Islamic issue while so many people were walking around in, honestly, in kind of a stupor trying to figure out what had just happened. Back then, as now, my office sponsored a literary banquet each semester. We're kind of a humanities center. And our practice was to put the new WLT issue, in this case, the Arabic issue, on people's dinner plates so they discovered the magazine when they came in and were going to take their seat. Now, on the occasion of this banquet in 2001, again, this is about 3 weeks after 9/11, as people entered the ballroom and saw the Arabic issue on their plates, there was an audible gasp moving around the room. It's not a good feeling to know that you've scared people. You know, you just don't feel very good about that. I felt terrible, in one sense. There was a collective sense of shock in the room, as if Al-Qaeda were somehow rising out of the dinner plates. People were initially upset, and a few took offense and complained about the timing of this issue. However, as the evening wore on, something interesting happened, totally unexpected. People began thumbing through the issue, and my staff and I were hearing positive comments. People at the table directly behind me commented that they had been seeking real information about the Middle East and Arabic cultures and had heard only sound bites on TV. Now, within the pages of WLT, they were finding real cultural information presented in depth. They were relieved to have the magazine, and by the end of the evening, some people were actually hugging the magazine to their chest. Needless to say, I felt a little better at that point. This event had a huge impact on me, and I concluded 3 things from it. I've noticed recently, by the way, that when anything that takes a lot of trouble to do or takes time, it always takes 3 reasons to do it. If the history of undone things is the history of people of things that people could only find 2 good reasons to do. They couldn't come up with a third. So it's always got to be 3. Okay, 1, there were not many places for people to easily get the cultural information that they needed to understand other cultures in the world. You'd think, you know, the internet, et cetera, there aren't. 2, their ability to comprehend global politics and their own personal situation depended on getting that cultural information in a timely way. And in the case that I described, the Arabic world stopped being, for the people that had this magazine, it stopped being a world of monsters and became instead a world of people with a perspective that had little connection to Al-Qaeda and terrorism. WLT helped people once again to see the Arabic and Islamic world as made up of people with complex lives and many different points of view. 3, I realized that no other magazine was waiting in line to present this cultural information to the world if we didn't provide it. It was us or it was nobody. Still true. We needed to step up to deliver the information about the world that was sorely needed, and that had to be our responsibility. Okay, moment number 2. The new, deeper commitment that I developed that night led me to moment number 2, which was really the whole of the year 2002. Simply put, we discovered that if you're going to reach out to the world to fill a need, the world has to like what you're offering, they have to know about it, and they have to be genuinely interested in it. By the way, have you read an academic publication recently? The pages of academic journals look like a sea of words, page after page after page. Academics don't like embellishments on anything on their pages except their own dense insider talk, page after page after page. I'm an academic, I can say this, which can mean some very, very dry reading. In other words, if you're going to reach out to an audience not made up entirely of insiders, you need to find a way to invite them into that publication. Maybe you could show those slides as I talk through this part of it. So no other academic or commercial magazine really wanted to touch all this. They didn't want to tackle a difficult subject like world literature and culture, and we aimed to cover that area without losing the audience that we already had. The upshot here was that we needed to invent something entirely new, as no one could picture what it would look like to take an academic publication, I guarantee you've never seen this before, and open it up to the world both in appearance and content. Would it look like Time Magazine or the National Geographic? We began working with many talented designers, artists, and magazine experts to create something that no one had ever seen before, a peer-reviewed academic publication intended for a large non-academic audience. I'm reminded of a story, maybe you heard this too on NPR, that I heard on Ken Robinson's, in Ken Robinson's recent TED Talk. He tells about an elementary school teacher who asked her young students to draw something that would surprise the other kids. The teacher noticed that one little girl was slow getting started with her drawing, so when the teacher went over and asked what the problem was, the little girl said that she was going to draw God, and she was just taking time to think. The teacher responded that no one had ever seen God and didn't know what God looked like. The little girl responded, "Well, they will in a minute." So I love that story. Robinson told this story to highlight how being frightened of taking chances, of being afraid to try and fail, or of coming up with the wrong answer absolutely kills creativity. Basically, in completely redesigning the magazine and creating a new kind of publication, we were taking a big chance. Maybe not as big as drawing God, okay, but you get the idea. Okay, number three. Number three was all about getting connected and letting the world know who we were. If we were going to get out of our little niche on the OU campus and not just be this little hidden thing there, actually do some good in the world, we needed to let people know who we were and what we had to offer. And so we had to put WLT in bookstores across the country, sign it up with dozens of vendors to sell subscriptions. Try starting a magazine sometime. We were sort of reinventing this. We found online distributors like JSTOR to bring WLT into the modern age, in a digital edition, and even to take WLT into the Middle East market and sell it there. We created partnerships with public schools and local libraries, and basically with anybody who would talk to us at the OU campus. As a part of taking WLT global, we approached the Chinese government about bringing out WLT in a special edition in China, a very, very big market. WLT and OU then entered a partnership with the Chinese Government Office of National Culture and Literacy, the Hanban, and they gave us $1 million. They actually wired us $1 million to start a book series and another magazine, Chinese Literature Today. Soon we had a huge number of new ties to our base in Oklahoma, and we were going out to readers abroad with prospects that had never been there for WLT, or I think in the history of the country, any other academic publication. As a result of all of these things, in about a decade, WLT became both a new and innovative publication and a humanities center. That is, there are now paper and online versions of WLT, a second magazine called Chinese Literature Today. I should have brought a picture of that. 2 book series at the OU Press, one that the Chinese government pays for, a multi-dimensional world of websites, world-renowned Neustadt prizes, Pewterball literary festivals, social media, university courses, workshops, book clubs, scholarships, 2 radio shows, and a TV show. And I think you get our TV show on PBS here in Tulsa. It's called Current Conversations. It's at 1 o'clock on Sunday. Of course, at the core of all of these activities was still WLT, committed to the university's mission to promote student learning and involvement, and through internships, courses, and conferences, we were starting to connect with the world as never before. Now, coming down to the present moment, WLT is currently in libraries across the U.S. and abroad, and every year more than 300,000 people read WLT in electronic and print formats. I know by commercial standards you think, oh, drop in the bucket. This number of readers is large and unheard of in academic circles, and nearly 500,000 people are now WLT's Facebook followers. It's forged a new presence in the world of literature and culture, and we like to think that the founders would be pleased and proud about what we've done. Now, of course, in these moments, I'm leaving out a lot. I'm leaving out the many initiatives that did not work or were setbacks, and there were plenty. The magazine business is a tough game, and inevitably we had to develop a thick skin about winning and losing to survive this process. We also had to learn to stay humble and appreciate it when things did work out as we hoped. As a unit, we learned that for long-term success, we had to be introspective about our successes and failures and stay committed to constant change. We had to accept that no matter how successful we were in meeting and exceeding our goals, we had a lot to learn, and we're not ever quite as impressive or cosmopolitan as we wanted to be or thought we might be at any one moment. Okay, number 4, moment 4. This moment came during my first trip to China. The trip where we were trying to get the $1 million that I referenced earlier. Okay, I was on plane to China. It's 25 hours to China. I mean, it's a long, long flight. And I was working on my introductory speech that I'd be giving to hundreds of Chinese scholars in this great hall in Beijing. And the magazine editor that I'd hired to run Chinese Literature Today, another professor, knew English and Chinese, so he asked to translate the opening portion of my speech into Chinese. You know, it made sense. So I could read it in the language and make the best possible impression on our host. I was very, very skeptical of this. Have you ever tried to speak Chinese? Okay? And maybe some of you have, but I hadn't. That's the point. I'd not before this. So he said, no, you got a knack for it. No, I don't. Yeah, you got a knack for it. No, I don't. I knew I didn't, okay? So reluctantly, I went forward with memorizing how to give some of my speech in Chinese. You can probably see where this is going. Okay, when the day of the speech came, I was at the podium about to talk, and my translator for the day was there too. He saw how nervous I was about the speech, and he mentioned that he would be watching my speech from the translator's control booth that overlooked the hallway. They've got, or the hall, this big booth like a sort of TV studio up there. He volunteered that since he would be translating my English remarks anyway, he would listen especially closely to my Chinese remarks and would tell me afterwards how they went. I said, okay, sure, yeah, do that. So I gave the speech, stumbling through the Chinese parts exactly as I thought I would. And when the speech was over, I looked up towards the translator's booth, and in the window, I could see the translator giving me a thumbs up, okay? However, he forgot to turn off his microphone. And in my ears, I could hear as someone else came into the booth and asked in English, how did he do? I could hear the translator say, terrible. I couldn't understand a word. I looked back at the translator. I was kind of startled. I could hear this, and the people in front of me couldn't. They knew how it had sounded, but they couldn't hear him. I looked back up at the translator's window and saw him smiling, and now he was giving me 2 thumbs up. He was trying to be supportive. Even with this tough and humorous moment, I understood that the important part was not that I was a crummy speaker of Chinese, which I absolutely was, but that we were making a large cultural connection and would become partners and continue to develop this partnership through open cultural exchange and a healthy sense of humor. That partnership now has gone for about a decade, and recently we just got renewed funding from the Chinese government, so good thing. The story that I've told you today is basically about an Oklahoma enterprise that went global over the last 17 years, a big event in my world, and one that has impacted many people here and abroad. This is a story about finding your identity as an enterprise and advancing it over time with passion. I believe that with what we have set in motion, the future WLT will reach an even larger audience of print and electronic readers around the globe. Its websites and offices will be a clearinghouse for information about international literature and culture. It will continue to merge into the realm of media and electronic distribution. I think in my lifetime, the paper version of it will probably disappear altogether. And it's going to continue to have a real impact on people everywhere. I also think that the passion of this little magazine that could is going to be the driving motivation to bring understanding of international culture to the nations of the world. At least that's my plan. Speaking here today brings home to me again the importance of WLT's commitment to its mission. Rotary's 111 years of continuous operation makes WLT look like a youngster. The fact is that WLT and Rotary were both way ahead of their time in developing an international focus long before globalization became a trendy buzzword. And they have both been unwavering in that commitment. Like Rotary, WLT plans to be around a long time and have the kind of helpful impact the Rotary's already had to make the world a better place. Thank you very much. Yeah, I know time is kind of short, but if there's a question, yeah.
You mentioned all the famous authors that have been in the publication. Do you ever publish any of the students? Do they get to be a part of the publishing?
Wonderful question. We have a lot of interns, sometimes 30 and 40. We're one of the biggest sources of interns on the OU campus, yes. But, and I tell the students to brag about this and make it clear when they put this on their resume, we publish Nobel Prize winners and Man Booker winners and Pulitzer Prize winners, some of the best authors in the world. And when students publish in WLT, but when they do, we don't lower the standards. So I tell them, you make it clear you competed at that level and you're there because you belong there, not because you were a student that we thought, oh, it would be cool to publish a student. So absolutely. Okay. Thank you.
As I told Dr. Davis-Undiano earlier, a book recognizing today's program will be given to our partner in education school, Celia Clinton Elementary, and the book is The Boy Who Fell Off the Mayflower. Something interesting about this book, the subtitle, or John Howland's Good Fortune. I understand that. Is it true that's a distant relative? Well, John, you have been a good friend for many of us and have actively supported the club in many endeavors. And because today is the day that we gave the book to Celia Clinton, we also thought we would give a copy of the book to you, an extra copy with a little inscription from a couple of us. And I don't know why, but thank you for all you've done. And we will all now recognize and note your connection to the Mayflower, and I'm sure you'll be able to answer a lot of questions in the future. So here's your... Thank you all for being a part of the Rotary experience. I encourage you to go tell your family, friends, and colleagues about World Literature Today. We're adjourned.